on to some of those matters. In advance of this estimates hearing, I wrote again to you and also the Commissioner of Border Force, setting out some of the issues that I was planning to raise. I didn't ask for the information in advance, but I wanted you to be able to be prepared for some of the questions that I asked, because some of them are specific in nature.
Yes, sir.
So I'll move to some of those now, although I doubt we'll be able to get through all of them in the time that we have. The NZYQ cohort, how many of them are in the community right now without ankle bracelets?
Senator, I'll just ask colleagues to come to the table and
Thank
join
you.
me. I was told today that one can tell who one's true colleagues are in the public service by those who join you at the estimates table when asked, but not by name.
Group Manager Michael Thomas of Immigration Compliance. Sorry, I did that in the wrong order. Senator, just to clarify a question, it was how many individuals in the community without...
Yes, of the NZYQ cohort, 153 I think we're up to. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. 152?
So yes, Senator, that's correct. So 152, people that have been released from immigration detention and are now on a bridging visa are a BBR. Of those 152, I've got the number with bracelets, so 79 of those individuals have an electronic monitoring condition on their visa.
79 out of 152, okay.
And I'll have to do the maths in my head on the delta of that. So 33, is that right?
It's a hard thing to do maths in public. I wouldn't want to do that myself.
No, sorry, 73. Apologies.
So 73 are without ankle bracelets. Okay.
And it's worth remembering...
Not required, Minister. I'm just asking factual questions.
No, it's worth remembering that this is based on the advice of the Community Protection Board.
We may come to that, Minister, but that's not what my question was about.
And other serious security and law enforcement personnel.
Yep. So, of the 73, what crimes had they previously committed? Are any of them among them the 7 murderers, for example?
Senator, I don't have that breakdown of data in front of me.
I said that these were issues that I was going to raise and that I expected answers to. I also asked it to colleagues at the AFP.
No, what you asked for was, from what I can see here, doesn't go to the details that you're talking about, and
I'll help you with that, Minister. Item number 5. The latest figures regarding alleged crimes committed by the NZYQ affected cohort, their detention status and any applications for community safety detention orders or community safety supervision orders.
Mr Thomas is doing his best to provide you with the information that he's been able to assemble in the time since receiving this letter.
I asked the AFP about this last week in an equivalent spillover, and they said only the Department of Home Affairs and ABF would be able to answer these questions. So, of those 73, how many are murderers or alleged murderers?
Senator Michael Outram, Commissioner of Australian Border Force. We did take on notice at the hearing, the substantial hearing, this line of questions. Quans, I think, roughly from 79 to 80, 91, 92, and you asked a series of questions about murderers, sex offenders, violent offenders without ankle bracelets in the community. We took that on notice, and we obviously are endeavouring to get that information.
So you don't even have those.
Well, either. Senator, let me say this. This is for me operationally, we are connected to state corrections and police. So that what we need to know in the Border Force is somebody subject to a visa condition that's arrested, charged, and then remanded in custody, that we will know that, and we do. And we also need to know if they're going to be released on bail, that we can apply the anklet bracelet before they're released, and we do. I don't need to know the nature and the details of the charges and the realities in the states and territories that they change constantly. People are charged, the charges change, charges are dropped, people are remanded in custody, people are bailed. So we will come back to you on notice, but it will change. The number will change potentially daily in terms of the amount of offences being committed and those sorts of things.
It might not be of interest to you, but I assure you it's of interest to the community to know whether there are any people who previously committed a murder who are now free in the community without even ankle bracelets on. That is a legitimate issue of public interest. And that won't change. committed a murder or allegedly committed a murder, and that will always be the case. And all we need to know is, are they wearing ankle bracelets?
And you recall as well, we had a conversation about, with such small numbers of people, I mean, we're talking about 150 people, there's 13,000 a month released from prison, 150 people, and with such small numbers, you recall the conversation, which is why we took it on notice, we have to be careful about privacy as well and identifying individuals. And so we are working through these issues, we are working through those questions on notice, and we will come back to you on notice as we committed to.
I'm not interested in anyone's names. I don't want to know who they are, where they're from. I just want to know, how about the sex offenders? There were 37 of those. Are any of them in the community at the moment not wearing an ankle bracelet?
And we took that on notice, and we took the question as well around violent offenders, which I think was a higher number, 72, I think, at the time.
I've got to say, Ms Foster, this sounds a lot like the prepared response written in the article today by James Fasola and Nick McKenzie, where the strategy was to not answer the questions or answer them late in the day or answer them verbally instead of providing them in writing. And it looks like officers are trying to obfuscate in this committee and not provide information which is in the public interest.
I don't think...
It looks like the approach has changed.
Senator Patterson, if you want to put a question like that, then please allow the witnesses and the minister to respond.
I don't think it's fair of Senator Patterson to be accusing public servants of obfuscating or looking like obfuscating.
Well, that is what it looks like, Minister.
It might be.
That is my view. That's what it looks like.
That is the narrative that you would like to create. I recognise that. You've had an answer from Mr Outram saying that the very questions that you are seeking answers for have been taken on notice and that he and his team are working through providing those answers.
Not only have those questions been asked previously, not only were they taken on notice, I have written in advance of this hearing advising that I'll be asking about these questions. I mean, I can't make it any easier for officials to come prepared. Surely this information is available within ABF or the department.
Well, I think you've received the answers that you're going to get from the officials tonight on that question.
I think anyone watching this hearing will see an apparent attempt to cover up and protect the government's interests here.
I think
Senator Patterson,
you are making an outrageous suggestion that public servants are involved in a cover-up to protect the government's interests.
There's nothing outrageous about it.
Sorry, order. Senator Patterson, that is unparliamentary language. I would really ask you to consider withdrawing it. You can put your question another way, but I don't think that is appropriate in the circumstances to put those words in a question to the officials who are in front of you at the moment.
Chair, I'm sorry. You must never have seen any of your colleagues in opposition and the things they said from these
Senator
seats.
Patterson, it's not a debate between me and you. If you would like to have a debate with me, we can have a conversation about that another time. I'm asking you to consider withdrawing. If you don't want to, that's your decision. But I'm saying, as chair, I consider that to be unparliamentary language. If you don't want to assist the committee by withdrawing, then that's a reflection on you.
Thanks, Chair. I don't accept that it's unparliamentary language. Coming back to the question...
These are public servants who have served both sides of politics.
It's not just unparliamentary, it's disrespectful.
And you're suggesting that they're participating in some cover-up to protect the interests of the government.
I'm saying that's what it looks like, Minister.
It's outrageous.
And that
so you're going to hide behind this is what it looks like rather than just saying it straight out, are you?
Minister,
you are making an outrageous accusation against these independent public servants who have served governments of both political persuasions. And I think it reflects very poorly on you that you're not prepared to withdraw that.
Minister, I'll have to live with your judgment on me, but that is exactly what it looks like when advance warning has been given about questions, when they've been asked on notice before, when your AFP colleagues said last week only ABF and Home Affairs can answer these questions, ask them next week when you have a spillover with them, and the questions still can't be answered. These are legitimate questions in the public interest.
Senator, we discussed last time, you would recall, and I'll go back to the Hansard, the difficulties in providing information about the cohort by state, by previous offences, by the visa conditions, because we get to a point where we identify people. And we did talk about this, and I explained I was uncomfortable answering those questions, and that situation hasn't changed. The 150 people we're talking about, each one of them have individually been assessed by the experts, the independent experts on the board, including two former very senior police officers, a forensic psychologist with a lot of experience in this field, and some of the experience within the youth justice system on a parole board, plus the officials from the department and the Border Force on the board who provide recommendations, and they don't just look at, of course, a previous offence in of itself is one thing, behind that offence, and they look the same for two offenders,
Sure.
are very different facts, and they look at the facts. They go to the comments that are made by judges in the trials. They have access to records and reports from the medical history, the psychological history, behaviour in prison,
Commissioner,
behaviour in
Senator
detention.
Patterson,
So
please don't
the
interrupt.
point I'm making is that with the additional funding as well received from the government, the attention to community protection is, for 150 people, and I've been doing this for 44 years, absolutely significant. But I do have genuine concerns about providing information for very small numbers of people which may lead to their being identified. Moreover, again, I would restate that the states and territories and what they're doing with their various prosecutions, charges being changed, people being bailed and remanded.
Commissioner, this is all
within
not-
states and territories.
Chair, I'm sorry.
Senator Patterson, I'm calling you to order again, repeatedly. Do not interrupt the Commissioner when he is giving you an answer.
Point of order, Chair.
Senator Patterson,
Point of order, Chair.
what is your point of order?
My point of order is, if witnesses give long answers when we have limited time, it is perfectly acceptable within the Senate's standing orders and the culture of these committees for senators to politely ask them to stop answering a question and to move on to other questions.
And as the chair, what I'm telling you is you are not doing that in a polite way. You are interjecting. Mr Outram understands the limited time that we have, and I'm sure he's about to conclude his answer. But what you won't do is interrupt the witness, particularly the Commissioner of the ABF.
I'm sorry. Senators must be able to indicate if the answer is not relevant to what they're hearing. Otherwise, we have speeches on the other side of the table all night and ask no questions.
Senator Patterson, Senator Polly.
I want answers to the questions I ask Senator Polly, not different ones.
Senator Patterson, you're calling a point of order for the purpose of trying to give yourself more time to answer questions, but you're not allowing me to provide you that opportunity. You have run out of time. I do have to share the call. When you get the call back, what I'd suggest is that you provide your answers to the Commissioner and he'll answer them as quickly as he can, but he is able to give you the detail that's required to give you an appropriate answer.
There was no detail in that answer, Chair.
Senator Patterson, you don't have the call. Senator Shoebridge, you have the call.